We're learning the Midah Hazayin of the 13 Midos of Hashem, the Micha enumerated. And the Midah Hazayin is Yashuv Yerachamenu, which doesn't sound like a Midah at all, but what it literally means is that if we do tshuva, he has rachamim, which is so. I was thinking that it's so. That's so obvious to us that if we do tshuva, he has rachamim. We grew up with that. If you do tshuva, it's rachamim. But when you think about it, it's really a big chiddush. It's such a big chiddush. I don't even know if we truly believe it. In other words, like if a person is a convict of some sort, or a predator or an abuser, and they say they did tshuva, or they look like they did tshuva, so how much do you trust them? In reality, So I'm often confronted with it. I mean, just personally, I'm often confronted with how much are you going to trust somebody? Well, we do believe in tshuva. So maybe we don't believe they did tshuva, or we don't understand what tshuva really is. So there is some kind of a chiddush here that HaKadosh Baruch Hu accepts the tshuva of people, and I have no reason to believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu really does know if we did tshuva or not. Like, we might not know if the other person did tshuva, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu really does know if we do tshuva or not. And there's a chiddush here that Yashuv Yerachamenu, that if we do tshuva, we are received back in Chiddush 1, Yerachamenu. We don't find the Yerachamenu on the Tzadik. The emphasis that Rachamim is not I mentioned this a couple of times, Rachamim is not necessarily a good thing. Rachamim, like, you're not supposed to daven for Rachamim. Rachamim means that you admitted to guilt. Now we're asking Hashem, have Rachmanis. Mercy is like when you're a kid and the guy has your arm behind your back and say uncle. Okay, have rachamim. So rachamim is already acher hamaisa of the guilt. Chesed is a good thing. We ask Hashem for chesed. Rachamim means there's an implication of guilt. So Yashuv Yerachamenu, it's only possible to have rachamim by a bal tshuva. Just the tzaddik doesn't need rachamim. So the chiddush here is Yerachamenu, that there is a midah of rachamim. That in itself is tshuva, that even after there's guilt, even after there's a wrongdoing, even after there's still Yerachamenu. So there's a lot going on over here, and so he brings the sugya. Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu misnai kemidas basar v'dam. Hashem is different than what the general behavior of people. That if somebody gets you really annoyed and angry, when he apologizes, the fact of the matter is, even if we accept somebody's apology, we don't really we're not back to where we started, generally speaking. However, this is huge, that if the person who apologizes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not only is the apology accepted, and not only are you back to where you started, but even more, you're even at a higher level. In other words, the tshuva itself gets you even you're at a higher place than you were even to begin with. V'hainu, so where does v'hainu, this is what the Gemara means, what it says, so now comes the fun part. V'atam, how does this work? What's the mechanism here? What's the lumdus here? The answer is Ki the Pirshu the Parakabona. Chazal explained this in Masechta Menachos, Shabbos and Menachos. Menachos Chavtes Be'inyan Hay. Lamahi Asuya Ka'achsadra. Why is the hay look like an achsadra? Do you see that? An exedra, it's a Greek word, by the way. An exedra. An exedra is everybody's seen been on top of, even on top of Masada, or all over Israel. You see an exedra, from an archaeological point of view, is a semicircle arch like this. This comes up a lot in Hilchos Sukkah. It's like a semicircle, and what would happen is that the Talmidim would sit on this in the Greek world. I'm not talking about Jewish world necessarily. They would sit in a semicircle, and the teacher, the philosopher, would sit in the front. So it's like a semicircle, as opposed to the way as opposed to this. Let's say this is like a classroom, but Aksandra is like this. Chazal took on this thing from the Greeks, because the Gemara says Aksandra de Rav, that Rav had an Aksandra. This is like one of the Greek things that we took on. Yafta lekim liyefes. So the Gemara says Aksandra de Rav, that the Yefes, like they had some good chaps in education. And the idea was that if you just the history is that if you're sitting in rows, so not everybody sees the teacher the same way. Whereas if you're sitting in a semicircle, that's the closest you could get to everybody having a good view, and the teacher seeing everybody. So that was the Aksandra. So the Gemara says in Sanhedrin, in Menachos like this. The Gemara in the context. Just keep this in mind for a second. The context of this Gemara is the famous Gemara about where Moshe Rabbeinu went to Shamayim when he was on Har Sinai, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed him Dor V'Dor Shav, and he showed him the door of Rabbi Akiva, and he showed him Rabbi Akiva developing Moshe Rabbeinu's Torah, and Moshe was very happy. And then he showed him Rabbi Akiva being tortured, and Moshe Rabbeinu said, Zu Torah v'zu schara, asked the question of Hashem, Zu Torah v'zu schara, like where do we go south over here? Zu Torah v'zu schara. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him this profound answer saying, Shtok. And it's, I think, Shtok, just be quiet. And then he said, Kach olah b'machshava techila, something I've been grappling with for years, like what does that actually mean? Kach olah b'machshava techila. This was my original intention, that we should all be tortured to death. Kach olah b'machshava techila needs the words are, say it's Masheret, that's the way it's supposed to be, or where does it say that? Gemara says, the Gemara says in the name of Hashem, Kach olah b'machshava shtoik, Kach olah b'machshava techila. Gemara Menachos Chavtes.
The words of Hashem that Kavachot bring no recovery.
No, Gemara. Thank you. In other words, there was a Messiah. That's what happened. Halach l'Moshe b'Sinai. In fact, the Gemara says. How do we know this? The Gemara says Halach l'Moshe b'Sinai. It's something. It's a tradition that we have.
It's a fact question.
Yes. Here. Omer Loi, Hashem said, Shtoik kach olah b'machashava lefonai. I want to remind me, I want to come back to this, but that's just the context, not our Gemara. That's the context of the Gemara. Then the Gemara says, the Gemara starts, by the way, the whole Parak Shlishi of Menachos is talking about how to write tefillin, and how to write a Sefer Torah and mezuzah, and how to make the oasis. That's what this parak is about. And that's. So now the Gemara starts talking about the letters. Same Gemara. And the Gemara says, Amar Avashi Chazinalu L'Sifrei Devei Rav, which means the Sifrei Devei Rav. I saw the Sofrim in Rav's house, the Chotrilei L'Gage de Ches, the sugya here, that when they made a Ches, Chotrilei, they made a little tag on top. Here's a Ches, it's Rashi pointing to. Rashi has a picture of the Ches, and they had a little chimney that goes up from the Ches. That's the Chatrulei. Even though Chatri means closed, so I would think that it means that it should be closed, but Rashi says it means little spitz lamala. V'tolulei, and they were careful to tolulei l'kari de hay, that when they made a hay, that the left side of the hay, the regel should be hanging. You would think this was before Rav. You would think this is the old way, but I don't want to get into it now. But you understand the aleph phase changed, and there's a lot of history here. So the time of Rav, they were getting the Ashuris 100% clear, and in the Ashuris letters, they were very careful that the ches should be closed and have a tag on top, and the hay, the letter should be it mustn't be touching. Touches, it's puzzle. Can't make a hay into a ches. K'loimer chai, ches stands for chai, Rashi says. Chai hu berumai shaloyla. what's the ches? Why does it have the chimney? And that's how Rashi knows from the Hemshech of the Gemara that it's not talking about the closure of the ches, it's talking about the tag of the ches, because chai, who's pointing up. So a ches is lashon chai. Chai is interesting. Like chai really made it big in the Jewish religion. You get $18. Like my mother wore like a little chai around her neck all the time. Like, why chai? Why don't you? Why not a? It's a lot of things you can wear around your neck. Like why was it chai? Like how did that make it chai? Am Yisrael chai, which doesn't say anywhere. I don't think, does it? Am Yisrael chai. Shlomo Carlebach. Says somewhere? Am Yisrael chai. Ojo Vidu chai.
Yeah, that's my
It says abrasions, yeah. It's a question. Odo Vidu chai, Am Yisrael chai. I think it's Shlomo's poetry. Became a pasuk. Became a pasuk. Became a pasuk. You can make him a pasuk. Okay, so chai is a zach, right? So chai, tolule, and that's the ches. Okay, chai. Ches stands for chai. Keep that in mind. But tolule lekar dehay, and they also were medaktik. That's the sofrim in Rav's house. Rav was the one with the exadra. They're also in Rav's house that the regal of the hay should be hanging in midair. Also a kuf, but the Gemara doesn't talk about a kuf. Kuf is a reish and a vav, and a hay is a reish and a vav. So tololei lekari the hay amai. Why? Because this comes from a conversation of Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya. That's not Rabbi Yehuda Nasi.
Third generation.
How many?
Third generation.
Third generation. Mirabami, giveaway, much later. Amoroim. My Dechsiv, they darshan the pasuk in Yeshayahu, which says, Bitchu ba'Hashem adei ad, ki b'yah Hashem tzur eilamim. Amarlai, kol ha'bokharel b'tchona ba'kadosh baruch hu, machsuloi ba'olam hazeh, ba'olam haba. That Bitchu ba'Hashem adei ad, if you trust Hashem forever and ever, trust Hashem forever and ever. Ki b'yah Hashem tzur eilamim, because Yah Hashem tzur eilamim. So what's the? Why does that mean that you should trust Hashem forever and ever? So the answer, the Gemara says, "D'chsiv b'yah v'loy ksiv Yah." The chiddush in this pasuk is Ki b'yah Hashem tzur eilamim. I should have just said, what's the pasuk saying? Hashem created the world. Hashem created two worlds. Tzur eilamim. Created many worlds. We don't know how many worlds. At least two. Elamim is at least two. So it could have said, Ki Hashem tzur elamim. Hashem created the world. It could have said, you want to get fancier, Ki Yah Hashem tzur elamim. But what's Bi Yah Hashem tzur elamim? That changes the whole meaning. Because Bi Yah means with the Yud and with the Hey did he create the world. Like he used these letters to create the world. Two worlds. Echod behei, echod beyud. Which is which? But since the Torah says in Bereshis, Elu told us Hashemayim v'aretz behi baram. This is the Shemayim v'aretz that Hashem created in this world, and there's an extra letter, behi baram. What's the extra letter? Hey, behi baram. I could have just said what he created. Baram, what's behi baram? So I'll tikre behi baram ella behei braam. That's the way to read that. Behei braam. So somebody said correctly that's the same osios of Avraham, but not in Bereshis Beis. That's later. Avraham. So from here we learn that olam hazeh behei, olam haba b'yud. Umipnei man nivra olam hazeh behei. We have to know what all this means. We're just reading the Gemara. What does it mean that Hashem created this world? So what we have clear now is Hashem created this world with the Hey, Bi, Hey, not just Hey, which is the two, these are the Yah Hashem's first two letters of Hashem's name, Yud, Kei, Vav, Hey, right? So he created it, but he used the first two letters to create this world and the next world. The second letter, meaning the first world that was created, L'chora, was Olam Haba, and that's the Yud. And we don't know why that's a Yud. Let's dwell on the fact that the second world he created was with a Hey, And that's Behi Baram, and that tells us in the Chumash, and that's a big hay, right? Behi Baram.
Baram sounds like Lashon Rabbi,
Hmm?
Baram, Behi Baram, Lashon Rabbi, like
The world.
yeah,
Worlds.
What
Worlds.
We're saying it was just this all and was a hay.
The Torah's front
Hey,
of the Torah.
sounds like
Eila Tolda Shemayim V'Aretz Behi Baram.
Actually,
Toldos.
actually, he created the Jewish people with two hays, Aram and Sarah.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Two.
Everybody's thinking good. Those hays twirling around there.
Yeah.
So the hay, they shadoma la'achsadra, and why a hay? Because now we take because it looks like a Greek thing, an achsadra, an excedra. Shekol ha'roitze lotzes yotzei. There's a noob shot in the Greek classrooms, but if you want to leave, you don't have to raise your hand. Because ha'roitze lotzes. You want out of here? Go out of here. In other words, this was, I think, what that means in the Greek world is this is for mature people. Like you don't have to cut class. Like this, this meaning you, but it's very important. Meaning you have a choice to be here. This is you've chosen to be here. You're not here because the truant officer is going to be after you. You're here in this etc. because you want to be here. So therefore, Chazal took it on as Achsadra Debei Rav. You're in this Yeshiva Gedola here. Rav says this is someplace you're here because you choose to be here. So the whole world is like that. The whole world is an Achsadra. An Achsadra is a hey. You're staying with the program because you choose to stay with the program. Hence, we have this idea of Bechira Chavshis. This is the idea. We have a choice. Kol haroitze lotzes yotzei. If you want out, you can be out. Umay time atal yakare. That's the Achsadra look of the hay. My time atal. And why is the regel floating in the air? As the Gemara. So the Gemara says, "Di hadar b'tshuva ma'ilei." Because even after you fall out, you can still have that little spot up on top there, that little break in the wall, that you can get back in. I had such a ma'isa, like just as well. I had such a ma'isa when I was a kid. That I went to a movie, and we were making too much noise, so they threw us out of the movie. So I was complaining to this is a true story. I was complaining to the guy, like the guy with the flashlight. They still have that. I don't know. I went to a movie about 45 years ago. But the guy with the flashlight. So he walks me out, and I get out, and I was complaining, like, what's going on? So he says, "Look, I'll take you back in. We got to be quiet." I was a little kid, so he takes me in through this back door. Like he couldn't go in the same way that I came. Like he can't go because I threw you out as a looker. So he says, "We'll take you through the emergency exit, door in front over there. He's got a key." So so I did tshuva. I got it through and now I have to do tshuva for the rest of my life. I'm not even going to tell you what movie it was. The hadar b'tshuva ma'ilei. Right? So, Frank, the Gemara v'layla b'hach. What's the problem? Hashem wants to, if He's letting us back in, so just go back in. You get kicked out, or you fall out, or you go out, or you walk out. So walk back in. La'ila b'hai. So the Gemara says, lo mistaya milsa. It'll never work out for you. Going back in the same way you fell out is not going. So you have this hay. Look at the picture over here of this hay. We don't usually work in this kind of a visual way with Gemara. This is something that's like a new thing, right? So you have this hay, which is Domalach Sadra, and it's a big slippery slope, but it's not an Achsadra facing like a Greek one. This is a godly one, so it goes vertical, and you're holding on with all of your might to the walls and making the right choices and trying to stay within this Achsadra. I'm trying to stay here, but it's a slippery slope. It's hard to stay there, and you can fall out. You make the wrong choices, you fall out, and then you're no longer in the hay. So we all want to be in this. We all live in a big hay. So we all want to be in this hay, and you can easily fall out of the hay. And what happens when you fall out? So you fall out, you're out. No, you can get back in because the way it works is that this piece over here is dafka leaving a tiny little. If it would have been a ches, it would not have worked out for us. There would not have been such a thing as tshuva. Chai, but no tshuva. So we have to be a hay. You can get back in over here, but this is a job because if you think about it, if the Gemara is giving us a visual, the job is now you have to go. You have to climb all the way up here. This is a very difficult thing, and you got to fit into this very skinny place. So it's this symbolically sounds like something very difficult to do. That's the picture.
Talk about the Chai before the necklace. They give the Chemsha. So also the Hay.
Chamsa.
Chamsa, is also the Hay?
No idea.
But also, this works because the hay that we have today, that's the hay they're talking about.
This is the hay.
But there was a hay before that was really different.
I'm not clear how it was, but I think it was like, I'm not an expert, but I did read the first page of the Ben Yehuda dictionary. So I think it looks like like the hay looks like nothing we have, like a Z, like a horizontal Z. Somehow that's a hay. So it doesn't work. This hay is.
I mean, there's a much more to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Should be used to be different.
Right.
I just want to explain a little bit. Lefi Malcolm Shiyadi Magas. I'm not a Makubal, but we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world with the letters of His name. Besides for this pasuk, Hashem Echad Ushmo Echad. So the name, when we talk about the shame, we talk about shame like my shame, your shame, like the name, right? John, Jack, Eliezer, whatever your name is, right? We said that name, that's the part of you that everybody knows. That's the part that's in the phone book. That's the part that you wear on a tag when you go to a convention. Your name is like a known thing. Do you know my deep personal issues? Do you know my emotions? Do you know my problems? Do you know my TRW? No, but you know my name. That's what you know. You know my name. So do we know Hashem's Amkus, Debs? Of course not, but we do know His name. So so that's the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu are the manifestations, simply put, of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world that we can, as human beings, relate to relate to a world which is higher. Even the biggest Mekubalim can't. It's beyond any kind of human comprehension to understand. So that's this world is always with Osios. So Osios, it's like that's a name in general, but look a little bit deeper. I mentioned before that Osios, that's the ultimate. That's the final articulation of something which is subdued. Meaning, if I have a thought in my mind, it's a thought in my mind, my heart, close to my mind, it's formulating. The minute even a baby goes ba, ma, abba, ma, ima, right? That's the first outcome. The first sounds are the first outcome of a whole process that's talking about, and it's coming out in abba, bet, something that that's amazing. And then those osios form into maybe even animals get that first sound, but people could really turn them into words and take the words, turn them into sentences, and sentences, deep thoughts, poetry, philosophy, amazing what that abba can turn into. But what it is it's you have to look at it as a process which starts from something very, very untangible, something very cerebral, to something very, very, something not cerebral, ethereal, to something very, very real that you can touch and feel and examine and digitize. It's a whole different story. So that's very similar to the process of HaKadosh Baruch Hu creating the world, because the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what's the world of Hashem, before the world was created, the world that we have no connection to. We don't understand what that is. Not even Olam Haba. You're talking about before that even. So it's not something Kadmus. The Kadmus Olam is not something that anybody could even grasp one way or the other. So there had to be what the Mekubalim call a tzimtzum. There had to be some kind of a tzimtzum, and the tzimtzum, some type of contraction into the world of Gashius, and that contraction is called osios. In Kabbalistic language, that contraction is called osios, and specifically the osios os. Think about the word os. It's a very deep word. Os means a letter, but it also means, osi. When you talk about yourself, you talk about osi, oscha, eschem, es. Es is es l'rabbis. Es os. It's the same. Very, very. It has an aleph, has a taf. It's a very, very chashuv. Oh, so this is the articulation of the bria of the world. So I'll give you an example that again, I'm just not to be afraid. A little bit of Kabbalah. I'm not. It's not a. You don't have to worry about too much Kabbalah because I'm not capable. I don't know it, but what I know, you can know. That is that the world before the world was created was a world of what's called the world of Chachma, like from the Kesser. It was Chachma. The Spheros, as we know it, Chesed, Gvur, Tiferes, Netzach, Chod, Yesod, Malchus. The spheres that we know it start with Chesed. Hence, Olam Chesed Yibana. When it comes to the world has to take this transition, this paradigm shift from the world of Chachma, which is ironically beyond, that's the Kesser, beyond anything that's in this world, something that we don't know, to Olam Chesed Yibana, to going into this world. So the Gemara says, in this vein, the Gemara says that when Hashem created the world, He wanted to create the world, B'midas Hadin, Bereshis bara Elokim. Elokim is Midas Hadin. Saw that the world can't be Miskayim, so He made it Midas Yerachamenu. All of a sudden the Shem Yud Kei Vav Kei, it's all about Shemos. Yud Kei Vav Kei came into play, which is different than the Midas Hadin. So Bereshis bara Elokim. So so the first, so Shitaf Itai Midas HaChesed and Midas HaRachamim. So hence, that's why, whoever said that, I remember, that Behi Baram is the letters of Avraham. Because Avraham was that manifestation in this world of HaKadosh Baruch Hu making the paradigm shift from Chachma to Chesed, from Din to Chesed. So that happened, didn't happen with Adam, didn't happen with Cain, didn't happen with Noach. This first happened with Avraham, and the way this happened is by putting the hay. The hay became, in other words, Avraham, you're going to be part of this world. You're not something, so don't get off the mountaintops. You're part of this world. Behi Baram, Avraham added a hay. Sarai, same thing. Like no longer Sarai, not only my Sar, Sarah. You're going to be the Sar of the hay, meaning you're now dwelling in this world. You see, the Medrash says, just out of this week's parsha, the Medrash says that Avraham Avinu bought the land from the Bnei Ches, yeah? So it says, like such arichas in the Torah, it's like unbelievable buying a piece of land. And like arichas. It's also arichas in history, like this piece of land, Hebron. But so the Medrash points out that it says 10 times Bnei Ches in the parsha. 9 in the beginning, and then at the end of the parsha it says another time Bnei Ches. So the Medrash says that's connected the Asaras HaDibros. Okay, Vakesher like Bnei Ches, to the Asaras HaDibros. What's the thing that I think the pshat is that I didn't see this, but probably the pshat is that the Asaras HaDibros was like that was like a very that was this paradigm shift. That something went from a place of complete godliness, ruchnius, to carved in stone. Ruchnius became gashmius. Like it was the same thing as the creation of the world. Avraham Avinu having to deal with Bnei Ches, vayishtachavu, and he bowed down to Bnei Ches. This is all becoming part of this world, where nobody wants to be. Right after the Akedah, like you have to come into this world. I think. That's your job. Avram was the person of Chesed. I mean, that's your job. Your job is to be worldly. Like we all want to get out. You know, like around here, this is like a high madrega shul here. So everybody at some point says, "What do you think about me stopping to work and learning all day?" At some point, everybody goes through this thing. I'm talking about 30-year-olds. I'm not talking about. So so it sounds like most people would say yes, good. I was sure that what? Oh, it's down to earth. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a das Torah, I'm saying what people should do. But if first, just if somebody asks my opinion, I tell my opinion. I'm perceiving it as escapism, not as not as going on to a higher madrega. Higher madrega is a higher madrega. Okay, like Chatarasu Ibnasai, no question about it. But I know myself that if I just wanted to do that, like just learn all day, that would be like a form of escapism. Just like the world trying annoying. The older you get, the more annoying everything gets. Everybody gets. It's like get out of here. Like, it's just very annoying. So Avraham Avinu, like all of a sudden, after the Bnei Ches, after that's the Akedah, and this was like one of the Nisyonos. The Medrash says Asar Nisyonos was one of the hardest Nisyon. According to Chazal, this was a harder Nisyon than the Akedah. So it's a big Nisyon. He bought a piece of land, he bought a plot for his wife, and he buried her. That she died, she was 100. Wasn't like she had like a terrible car accident or something. I mean, she lived to a ripe old age, and he buried her. So what's the big Nisayon? Nisayon was like Mamash dealing with Bnei Ches. Mamash dealing with Bnei Ches. The Nesiya L'kim Atav B'Sachenu. So what are you bowing down to them? It's a hysteria. Nesiya L'kim Atav. Oh, we want you, we love you, but bow down to us. But this is this business of biting the dust is a very, I believe, a very, I'll say something very radical now. I don't know if you'll see it as radical. It's a very deep spiritual, experience. To have to go into the shuk, go into the Bnei Ches, go in with whoever they were, the Arabs that they were, and to negotiate with them, and to bury the dead. Very, very gashmius, and it's a very earthy. And this is the hay. This is the hay. So just on a point. So when we talk about
planting Malchus.
Yeah, the Malchus, exactly right. It's exactly Malchus, the Zriya of Malchus. Okay, Tachlis here, getting back to our point over here. I'm just explaining, what I'm trying to do here is explain why Hashem needed letters to create the world, because letters represent and symbolize the articulation of something which is unarticulatable. And even then we don't get the whole thing, but we get enough apparently for what we need, which is this level of articulation in this world. That's one thing you need at Oisius. It has to be the Shem Hashem, because Hashem Echad Ushmo Echad, which is the wrong way of saying, because it has to be Adonai Echad Ushmo Echad. It has to be, what's that, Hashem Echad Ushmo Echad is redundant, but the God and His name. So this is two worlds, and this is the Pshat. And it started off with Midas Hadin. It's not that Hashem changed his mind. It's that the world of Hashem started off in Olam Haba, which is Kulei Din, and now Hashem said, I can't continue this derech. I need a hay here. I can't continue with just the Yud. And that's why the Yud comes before the hay. I made my Olam Haba. I'm good with Din over here. And then Breishis Bar Elokim. It's not that he changed his mind. What? Oh, so Allah b'machshava tchila. We'll get back to Rabbi Kiva. Kach Allah b'machshava tchila. You get it? Machshava is the higher level. That's Chachma from the Kesser. So when Moshe Rabbeinu said, when Moshe Rabbeinu said, what's going on here? Zutayra v'zuschara, kach Allah b'machshava tchila. This is a different world. Rabbi Kiva is in a different world, even than you are, Moshe Rabbeinu. This is a different world. It's the world of Machshava. And that was what it was before. That was the original plan, or the original idea was a hemshech of the Yud. Ki b'Yud Hashem tzorah. No. B'hi baram Avram Avinu Chesed, and Rabbi Kiva seems to have climbed even higher than that. And that's the pshat, shtok, kach olah b'machshava tchila. Not first and then I changed my mind, but in the sequence of things, came first Din and first Chesed. Do you understand this? Meaning, it's not that let's try Din. No. Let's go Chesed. This is not a laboratory. What it means is that first HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the Yud, Olam Haba, Kulei Din, Kulei Chachma. That's from the Kesed. And there is no Bechira Chavshus there, by the way. Olam Haba, no Bechira Chavshus. It's all Din. It's there, you're not there. That's all. You're like a Malach. But that once he started creating the hay, HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to change things to have chesed, and that's the hay. So b'yah Hashem, and where does this hay manifest itself? It manifests itself with Avram Avinu. So finally, in the year 1948, from the creation of the world, hay came into play. Finally, the world. This was kilu like this is what the Gemara means when it says that the world is 6,000 years. The first 2,000 years is tohu vavohu. Why is it tohu vavohu? So what happened? The creation ended after 6 days, 7 days. So why is it all 2,000 years tohu vavohu? The answer is there was a development going on until you got to Avram Avinu, who was born in 1948, and exactly 52 years later, so Hikaras Bayrai, and he started his campaign to go throughout the world. So it was exactly at the year 2000, that Avram Avinu completed the creation of the world, which was Olam Chesed Yibana. Okay, hope everybody's with
It's
me on all
interesting that Shammai ends with a Yud, and Hillel starts with a Hey.
Okay. And that's why they always said the words of Shammai before the
Right.
words of Hillel.
And it's Din, and
That was the Mila. Okay, let's talk about the Tomer Devorah for 5 minutes here. So what we have is as follows: Hashem created the world with a hay. So now the Gemara says it's an achsadra. It's easy to fall out of this world. Hashem gave us full free choice, put us in the world, and it's easy to mess up. True, right? It's easy to mess up. You see it in every part of life. Easy to mess up. People that speak so honestly, they steal. People are frail when it comes to real tests that come our way. Hard to judge people that have tests. But people are frail, so it's easy to fall out. But there's a provision to do tshuva. So you can do tshuva. You get back in, and you go around the top symbolically, go in through the back door. Why don't you just go up the same way you came? It'll never work. I always thought the pshat is that it'll never work because, like I said on Sunday, that people that make a mistake always make the same mistake again. In my experience, people get divorced because they made a mistake, so they tend to make the same mistake in the second marriage, and third, and fourth, and fifth, and sixth. It's not unless something changed. Either there's something wrong, or you're picking wrong. Like something is, but like it's something like from marriage to marriage is an example. Like something has got to change. Like there's a need for some therapy here. So like what went wrong? Let's analyze business to business. There has to be a change. So I always thought the pshat is that you can't go if you picture the bottom of the bottom of the achsadra, the bottom of the hay. So I always thought if you go back in, what's the point? You're just going to fall back out again. Comes the Tomer Devorah, and he says that's not what it is. You're not allowed back in. You fell out, you fell back. Like it's like the turnstile that you get in doesn't work. You can't go. You got to go through another door, like the movie theater. It just doesn't. You can't get out. It doesn't work. Once you're out, you're out. But there is another door, and the other door is the door of tshuva. So the door of tshuva means that you even after you fell out, it's not just that you're going to fall back out again. It is useless, but it means that if you make a real change here with tshuva, so now you can go in through another door. Why? Because now there is no when you do tshuva, there is no danger that you're going to fall back out. I'm saying a big chiddush here. Like even though it says Al tamen ba'atzmacha yom yisascha, etc. The fact of the matter is, if a person does true tshuva, there's no more danger. No more danger. You're past that. That's why the Rambam says that your tshuva is only complete if you're ba'osa isha, ba'osa makom, osa isha, ba'osa makom. You're in the same situation. You're the same age, right? So here you are again. The Rambam says, in the French Riviera with the same beautiful person, and the sun is setting, and everything is beautiful. But loy chata, loy chata mipnei hatshuva. So what does that mean? Everyone asks in the Rambam, well, you're not allowed to put yourself. Don't go back to the place where you messed up, where you were weak. The answer is, I'm not weak. That's a different person. I'm not the same person.
So why do you need rachamim after the tshuva? It seems to me you need rachamim before the tshuva.
Okay, that's a good question. The point, though, it's a different point. The point is that the tshuva changes the person. So what it means is if you just go in the same way you came, you fell out. So then same person. But if you go in this way, there's a program, right? Program, returno. There's a program, and once there's a program, so I'm a different person. Here says the Tomer Devorah, where do you end up? you end up in a completely different place than you were to begin with. You end up in the gog of the hay, higher, because, and that's why, it says the Tomer Devorah, b'makom shebalei tshuva omdim, all the way up on top, ein tzadikim gemor michol lamad sham. You can't get there without tshuva. So tshuva, the exercise of tshuva, is actually the purpose that we're created. The reason we're created is to do tshuva, not to do averos, but to do tshuva. Somebody said last week that maybe you can do tshuva even if you don't do an aver. You see, it's a very... the Gemara says that David HaMelech said, Libi chalal b'kirbi. I got everything under control. Everything's under control. Libi chalal b'kirbi. I'm cool. Miyad kafat alav ma'aseh de b'Hashem. As soon as he said Libi chalal b'kirbi, he's standing on his bar pesach. He looks up to the Shemayim. He says Libi chalal b'kirbi. He looks down to the bottom bar pesach. He sees B'Hashem. So says the Tanakh. And Shutta said Libi chalal b'kirbi. This is the Baral in Prague. Was it like Leishafkas Chayil Chalberi, or like he finally worked out. So Basheva presented a whole new Nisayan. It wasn't the same Nisayan. It was like, I did this whole tshuva and I became this whole tzaddik, and here's the mice of Libi Chalal B'Kirvi, and all of a sudden he sees Basheva and boom, the whole thing falls apart. No, Basheva he saw Shlomo HaMelech. Basheva he saw Malchus David. Basheva he saw Mashiach. Basheva was a whole. It wasn't just like another pretty face. It was a whole.
So it
was a new Nisayim. So for David, well, it's David. You're up here, but that's with what you had fallen in before. Now you got a new thing, because as soon as this is the pain in the neck of being alive, that as soon as you're kovesh one Nisayim, you become a whole new person. You get a whole new Nisayim, which is even on a higher madrega. So what's the tachlis? Let me just in the final moment that I have here. That the tachlis is that we'll learn on Sunday, but we're supposed to emulate Hashem. The idea of being in Tzelem Elokim is supposed to emulate Hashem. So let's just quickly say in a few seconds the nimshal. The nimshal is somebody offends us very, very deeply. Now we're not talking about us being the offender. In this case, in the mashal and nimshal, we're God, other person offends me. So let's assume that clearly I'm in the right, you're in the wrong, and it was a very, very deep offense. And the person comes and he apologizes. So, okay, regularly you say, okay, very good, I accept your apology, but nothing really happened. That's for sure, that's just for kids, right? But let's say you really accept apology. So let's say the person doesn't apologize but does tshuva. And I think this is the finish. The person does tshuva. So now we need to open up a little space, not the same space, because the fact of the matter is, it's like an abused, woman that there's always an apology between abuses. That's what people do, and it's probably a sincere apology, but nothing has changed. What did you change? So yes, you're apologizing, you feel terrible, I'm sure you do, but that doesn't mean that tomorrow you're not going to do it again, or somebody's an alcoholic, or something, whatever the issue is. So how much am I supposed to take it? The answer is you shouldn't take it at all. You shouldn't take it at all, unless, and this is the Kehillat Shivtei Yeshurun, there's an absolute sea change here, and a program and a therapy which says that you're not going to try to go into the bottom of the hay one more time for the 85th time or 850th time, but now you're climbing up the side and trying to get in through the top. So that requires a program of tshuva. That's not about are you moichel me or are you sorry. The chiddush is that's like a big, the fact is, like I said at the beginning, do we believe in tshuva? We don't believe in tshuva. So the answer is, I guess we do believe in tshuva. Or at least we're supposed to believe in tshuva. People can change, but I just from personal experience, this is not an easy thing to do. It's not a decision; it's a program. Change tshuva is a program. The Rabbah makes it easy. He says there's 3 steps to tshuva. And you say read to it. Rabbi Yaacov has 27 steps. Same thing. He just subdivides it. So there's a lot of steps to rehabilitation. But here's the thing: that the person who was hurt. I mean, not in the like not in the Havdil, the Christian way, oh, you have to forgive, like forgive and forgive. I don't think that's what we're talking about here, but there's this idea of allowing a person back in. It's deeper than that because Hashem made this hay to begin with. He made that split over here. So we always have to allow, this is what we need to learn, how this translates in the Baal. We always have to allow this place for the Baal Tshuva to get back in, just like Hashem allows us a place to get back in after we do a lot of climbing. So we have to allow, but never to allow, Leistaya Milsa, never allow the same thing from happening over and over and over again. That's just shtus. Then we're just abusing fool me once, etc. But that's just shtus. But if there's a true tshuva program, then we need to be godly. Then we have to exercise the tzelem elokim, which is not an easy thing to do because I'm hurt. But if the person makes a change, the change is a change. And now I got to let you back in and put you in a place where I don't even let my tzadikim. Like now the relationship is completely separate and completely different. So that's where we have to never stops. Well, as long as you're alive. What